Hi everybody, wherever you are, and I don't know where you are because we go all over the world on Facebook here on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us in the garage in the Court of Public Opinion. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton's behind the camera. Oh dear, this morning I watched the memorial for Charlie Kirk. See, we're recording on Monday, and this is for Tuesday, so it was yesterday. You might have seen it. It was among the most moving things I have ever experienced or ever seen. In his few short years, Charlie Kirk made such an impression on so many people from so many different walks of life. It would be remarkable the heights to which this man could have gone. That his life was cut so tragically short by this senseless, stupid individual. Extraordinary. Extraordinary and terribly, terribly sad. But that's sort of the world we live in, isn't it, in many ways? It's pretty clear that Vladimir Putin is testing the water, if not the patience of NATO and the free world, sending 3 MiG-31 fighters into Estonian airspace for 12 minutes, causing NATO to scramble their F-35 strike fighters. They came from Italy, Finland and Sweden. Everywhere. These are very dangerous times in which we live. Putin clearly has intentions to expand his insane, unjust war. I'm sorry, it's not a war, is it? It's, what did he call it? It's a military action. From Ukraine, he wants to expand it to the rest of Europe. The man is mad. They had better be prepared, the rest of Europe, I mean. I certainly hope so. The news that the gang that was allegedly the people who had hacked and stabbed those kids, you know, the 12-year-old and the 15-year-old that I told you about last week, stabbed them to death, Sudanese. The alleged attackers also South Sudanese. I'm not exactly sure what went on between Sudan and South Sudan. The youngest in the gang, 13, the eldest 19. There were 7 of them. 7. They've been arrested. We'll see if they're charged. If they get bail, I think in Victoria, considering the circumstances of lawlessness in that state, I think there'll be a riot if they get bail. Optus is in hot water. Oh, and this is not the first time. 3 and possibly 4 people died because of an alleged breach of strict laws that in the event of the network going down or an outage caused the 000 would be redirected to another carrier. Simple, regulated, and the law. This was the result of the 2023 Bean Review. Yeah, I told you they've been there before. We've seen a grovelling apology from Optus, and no doubt significant multi-million-dollar fines to follow. But who pays? As Tony Denton has said around the dining room table, the shareholders pay. It should be, and I agree with Tony, it should be the CEO and the company executives responsible. They're paid the big bucks to do the job and take responsibility. This has happened at Qantas and countless other public companies. Do not penalise the shareholders. Take it out of the pockets of the executives who caused the problem and broke the law. And where a death results, I mean, I'm not sure of the law, I'm not a lawyer, but I would imagine that corporate manslaughter charges could be considered. Fair enough. Our fertility rate has dropped dramatically below replacement. You see, a responsible government would be looking at this and recognising that this is the major problem facing Australia's future, Population. We don't need an emissions target. We need a population target. And indeed, a population policy. I'm not aware that either political party has a population policy. Talk to Bernard Salt, talk to any of the demographers around the place. Put something together. It's a plan for the future. Let's get to climate. The National Climate Risk Assessment. $23 million. How? Why? $23 million worth of drama and lies, right on script, and time. Flooding rains, rising sea levels, fires, heat, death of thousands of peoples. What? No earthquakes? It's funny, by the way. You know, more people die from the cold. You can look this up, it's true. More people die from the cold than the heat. The National Climate Risk Assessment. Who paid for this futuristic work of fiction? We did. 23 million smackaroos. Just to justify Labour's climate policy. Guesswork and fiction and perfectly timed. Not science. They, whoever they are, started out with a blank sheet of paper to simply try to shock and scare as many people as possible. Several forests later, there is a huge national climate risk assessment, a horror story. These things used to be tweets. Now they sort of come up on my phone as X. I got one from Ron Dunn. Ron Dunn lives in Bendigo. You might even be watching this, Ron. I hope you are. Let me repeat what Ron said. He said, "Since I only have a few years left on Earth, I'm offering to move the imminent risk of rising sea levels from one Sydney family. I will exchange a house in Bendigo at elevation 272 metres and a distance of approximately 150 kilometres from the nearest coastline for a waterfront property in the Greater Sydney area. Let me see. 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 cars, 1 title, front and rear yard, like for like required. This is the chance of a lifetime for a believer in climate emergency to take positive action to save his family." I love it. I love it. Do you think that Ron Dunn will get any takers? Do you think the price of waterfront real estate in Sydney is going to fall, or anywhere else for that matter? Labor says their emissions target will future-proof the industry of Australia. What unmitigated rubbish. We won't have an industry. These people have no shame. Do you remember when Labor was going to save the car industry? It was called the Button Plan. Single-handed, Senator Button destroyed the car industry. Labor came and went. So did Button. His plan, the industry, and hundreds of thousands of jobs. No sorry. No, whoops, we got that wrong. And now they're back. Here's an idea. Labor loves to have a sorry day. How about a sorry day for every time Labor has got it wrong, stuffed it up? I reckon there might be a sorry year or 2 involved in there. No, we won't get a sorry. All we'll get is more lies. The Climate Change Authority has decided on a climate reduction target, carbon reduction target of 62 to 70% by 2035. various ratbags, and we got a few of those, ladies and gentlemen, say that is not ambitious enough. Well, it's enough to bankrupt the country, in my opinion. But that's what they probably want. The village idiot, Chris Bowen, says it's achievable. Bankrupting the country, Chris? Yep. I reckon you're on the money. Was there a journalist there to ask him why? What will such a reduction achieve? Why is it necessary? Apart from the economic and financial damage that this target will cause, government, that means us, we will kick in $5 billion to ease the pain. Why cause the pain in the first place? And then make us pay to relieve the pain. We are in the hands of dangerous extremists. With 1% of global emissions, there is no reason, no justification for us to do anything. Anything. And that is a fact. The Prime Minister, Friday evening last, I better get this right because some of my viewers are pedantic. The ABC Evening News, 7:06. I reckon. I'm sure you can find it. He said, I guarantee you that renewables will produce the cheapest electricity. I'm sorry, sir, that is a lie. Renewables here in South Australia have produced the most expensive electricity we've ever known. Are you mad? Why are you perpetrating this stupid, demonstrable lie publicly on national television? Renewables are not cheaper. As I have said, my bill's gone from $1,600 a quarter 3 years ago when Labor came to power, or 3 and a bit, to $6,000 a quarter this year. Can you, sir, explain that? The village idiot, Chris Bowen, said on Insiders this last Sunday, coal and gas produce the most expensive electricity. That is a lie. Your renewables, batteries, subsidies, rebates, they produce the most expensive electricity. You can see that every time you open your bill, open the envelope and look at your bill. They're trying to reinvent the wheel. They're a joke, a dangerous, expensive joke. That they have the power to wreak this kind of economic havoc is a tragedy. God knows how long it's going to take to repair the damage that these people are doing right now. We are still suffering 50 years on from the 3 years that Whitlam was in power. This will be worse. When Bowen says 10 years on from the Paris Agreement, renewables produce the cheapest electricity. Is there a journalist who will ask, well, why isn't it? Simple question. Why isn't it producing the cheapest electricity then? Huh? No journalists asked the question. He says, when people say our contribution here in Australia, our contribution to global emissions is so small, it just doesn't matter, he says, well, that argument just doesn't stack up. Is there a journalist who will ask, why doesn't that stack up? You dismiss the fact that you're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. Answer that one, you idiot. When talking about the Palestinian statehood question, Bowen says, we will decide our foreign policy based on what is in the best interests of Australia. Then that's fine. I agree with that. But when it comes to climate change, you justify, Chris Bowen, you justify your policy based on global dictates. I have no respect for this person. I think you may have got the drift. Perhaps I should have a drink, Pete.
No, I love it. You're on fire. It's good.
I'm so sick of it. I am so sick of it. We're here for the Rising Sun, ladies and gentlemen. 60 Bridge Street at Kensington, a lovely watering hole. 8333-0721. Grant and Jackie are your host and hostess. The Rising Sun, regularly chosen as the best pub or inn in South Australia. Built way back in 1845, lots of atmosphere, open fires, and yes, it's still cold here in good old Adelaide. Here's one for global warming, ladies and gentlemen. And Jim Elder Fine Art Gallery in Melbourne Street, North Adelaide, with auctions coming up 3 or 4 times a year. If you have a painting of interest that you would like to get Jim to have a look at, he'll give you an honest assessment, evaluation, free of charge. And you might say, well, no, I think on that basis I'll keep it. Or you might say, well, hell, sell the bugger. You might. If you want to submit a painting for his next auction, it's a question of just giving him a call. Helen or Jim Elder, Elder Fine Art, Melbourne Street, North Adelaide. Join us on Friday, please. We're around the dining room table, 0491 65 68 60. JeremyCordeaux.com is the radio station. It goes all around the world. Or you can, if you don't want to do that or get that on, what do they call that thing, Pete? Not Google or... YouTube or one of the... We're on YouTube as well. But you can just go to this wonderful little app on your... If you get the app on your telephone, which is Simple Radio, and you go to the Court of Public Opinion, you will have me in the palm of your hand, which is, as you know, where I like to be. Now, happy birthday if you're having a birthday. I can just grab my glasses. It is September the 23rd. 1938 was the year. The time capsule to be opened in the year 6939. Why would they pick a year like that? It's buried at the World's Fair in New York City. It contains a woman's hat, a man's pipe, and 1,100 feet of microfilm. Doesn't tell me what's on the microfilm. That was put in that time capsule, 1938, on this day. ABC's first colour TV series, The Jetsons, premieres, created by Hanna-Barbera. That's not our ABC, that's ABC in America. 1962, The Jetsons. A lot of it has come true, but then again, a lot of it hasn't. Really, we're not flying around in cars that take... Well, anyway, sort of glad we aren't. 2019, 178-year-old British travel company Thomas Cook goes into liquidation, stranding 600,000 travellers worldwide. This is why I don't go travelling. You were in the travel business, weren't you? Yeah. 600,000 people stranded worldwide, prompting the largest post-war repatriation effort by the UK government. I think that was even bigger than Dunkirk. Mark Woodford, Australian tennis player. He was born South Australia, this day, 1965. Louise Fletcher, American Academy Award-winning actress, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, dies at 88. The year was 2022. Baldwin steam motor tram, first tried in Sydney, Australia in 1879. Sigmund Freud, Austrian neurologist and father of psychology. Here, come, lie on the couch. Dies at 83. The year was 1939. Thank you so much for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. Look forward to your company on Thursday. We'll be joining you on Facebook at 9 o'clock with another posting from the Court of Public Opinion here in the garage. And then, of course, on Friday, JeremyCordeaux.com, live streaming around the dining room table. Believe in yourself, and thank you for viewing the Court of Public Opinion.